Hi, this is Amy from Piano Pantry coming to you with a how-to for creating a master lesson plan spreadsheet. I've been doing this for 4 years, and you can see every year is just included in the spreadsheet down here on a tab. The nice thing about this is I'm able to reference the previous year items that I've done with students, whether it's making sure I don't double up on a worksheet or seeing what the last technique exercise we did the previous year was. It's very convenient to be able to glance back to the year before to see what students are doing or have done. So to customize this worksheet for yourself, I'm going to walk you through just a few things. First of all, we're going to start by creating a new worksheet, and I'm going to move it over here, and I'm going to rename this. Right click to do that, rename for the next year. I'll go ahead and go 2018-2019. You'll notice that on the spreadsheet that I have, across the top, we have what week it is. So this is the Monday of this week, Monday of the next week, the third week of lessons, the fourth week of lessons, the fifth week of lessons, and all the way until the end of July, when I consider my year rotation over. The second row that we have is information on things from holidays to group class weeks to, for me, I do tonal and rhythm learning sequence activities through Gordon's music learning theory. So it just helps me know what rotation I'm on. 1 week I'll do rhythm, 1 week I'll do tonal. I also include things like recitals, themes, so like Halloween, and that helps me remember, if I want to do any special theme worksheets or anything like that. Down the side then is the items that you might do in a lesson, and then this is the first student of the week. I go through all my Monday students in order by their lesson time, and then I highlight in a different color the first student of Tuesday's lessons, and then the next student of Wednesday's lessons, and Thursday's lessons, and so forth. If a student misses a lesson, then I simply just gray it out so I can see visually that they were gone that week. As I explained in the blog post, I like to include several items. Having something like notes is nice to have just for little things. Like, this is my adult students. I track how many lessons that they're using or that they've had. You also can notice, and I'll show you how to do this, that I like a little bit of space between the lineup here. I just, visually, to me, it keeps it a little bit cleaner, and I'll show you how to do that. Rather than having it, if I didn't have that, it would look like this. It would look like that up against the edge of the line. Okay, so to create this worksheet, we're going to start by just typing in week of, and then we'll write this was the first lesson of August, Monday the 21st. Okay, now what I want to do before I do anything else is I'm going to format these the way I want it. I want to make sure that this one is formatted to the left and that it's at the top. And what that means is if this were to get larger, it would stay at the top here, and if this gets larger, it stays to the left. I also want to right click and then go format cells, and then I'm going to indent, make sure it's on left indent to 1, and that gives it that little bit of space that I was talking about before. I'm going to do the same thing with week of, but I want this lined to the right. As you can see over here, I want the column on the left to line up on the right. So we're going to go right and then to the top, and then also go format cells, indent, and I want this to be bold, and we'll go ahead and format it with the gray tone that I'm using. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is, first of all, I'm just going to copy and paste this, but then redo this one for the next week. Now, instead of writing out every single week, the best way you can do it is in the cell, hit equals, and then you're going to select this cell and then hit plus 7. So we're going plus 7 days, and it's going to automatically fill in 1 week later. Now what we're going to do is we're going to highlight these two cells, and we're going to pull it clear across the spreadsheet. Notice how there's a black box around it, and there's a little black dot in the bottom right hand corner. Put your cursor over it, and there's a little black plus. We're going to pull that formula clear across. And I'm guessing I should have thought about this before, how far we're going. Okay, so I'm in April, so don't let go of it yet. It's still highlighted. I'm going to keep going because I want to go clear to July. Okay, let's see where I am now. Oops, somehow the values got messed up when I did that. Starting over again. So let's go back and do that one more time. Week of. And boom. Okay, so that's October, so I went a little bit far. Let's go, there we go, there's the last one. So I went July 30th. So I'm gonna highlight these from the top, and then I'm gonna right click and go delete, so we get rid of those. All right, now click in this upper left-hand box and you're gonna highlight the whole thing. We're gonna double click between the two lines of any cell. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna fill it so it fits the contents and it spread it out a little bit. Okay, so we can also go like this and resize a little bit and make the cells bigger equally. Okay, so we're going to go back home, so I'm going to hit Control Home to go back to the first cell. Then we're going to make the next row, and this is just simply going to be our row where we fill in our holidays and such. So we're going to pull this clear across, and all I really need to do to this one is make sure that it's lined to the left and the top, and format it so that it has an indent, and I want it to be bold and gray. So that's pretty simple. Okay, so the next one we're going to write in the name for the student, and I'll just fill in a student's name here, and then I'm going to write in the items that we want. So let's say you do reading, technique, pieces, lab, and notes, for example. And theory, we'll say. Well, let's do this one here, theory, notes. Okay, so let's go ahead and format that. Gray to the right, bold, top, and then right click, format cells, indent, like that. And then we're going to format the name. We want that, this whole thing, this whole column to be to the top, to the left, and then we want, whoops, yeah, there we go, our indent. Perfect. And then I want this to be bold and gray. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this one and we're going to go Control C for copy and paste. And now I'm going to write the next student's name in. So let's just write David. And okay, so we're just going to do 3 lines, but obviously you would do this for all the students that you have. And then what we're going to do is we're going to grab all of this, and again we have this black little box down here, and we're going to pull clear across to the right. Don't let go until you get to the very end where you see your final one for the year. Okay, now you let go, boom, and there they are. It copied everything over. So I'm going to go Control Home again. Now what we want to do is I want to put all my lines on here. So I'm going to highlight the whole thing and just fill in my lines, my borders, all borders. And then I want to freeze this top row. See how when I scroll it leaves the week of at the top? So to do that, you have to put your cursor in the row that's one below the row that you actually want to freeze. So I'm highlighting the name row, and then go to View and Freeze Panes. And now that top row, so I'll just put here first week of lessons, right? So that's one of my themes or whatever, first week of lessons. You can always see what's going on that week and then what week it is. So one thing you may have read in the blog post is that I like to, in my pieces, write down one that they've done. So let's just put hot cross buns and say they're still working on that song this next week, and they started a new piece. So to put a space between 2 lines inside of a cell, you have to hit Alt, Enter, and then you can create a line. So I like to put a space, and then I put the name of the new song that they're working on. Okay, and then what that does is that allows me to see that they've had hot cross buns for 1 week already, and that Twinkle Twinkle is their most recent thing. So that's one of my little tiny tricks that I use for that. I hope that this was useful and that you find yourself a lot more organized throughout the year doing your lesson planning. Happy organizing!